Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Alwani. I will introduce to you about the influence of environmental cues on animal reproduction. Environmental cues are subtle signals in the physical environment that influence the behaviors, emotion, and decision of animals. It can be intentional or unintentional, positive or negative, obvious or hidden. Animal reproduction is influenced by a variety of biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic factors include all living component ecosystems that interact with animals and influence their reproductive process. For example, the nutritional status of the mother can determine her ability to reproduce. So, well-nourished females are more likely to conceive and produce healthy offspring. However, abiotic factors are the non-living physical and chemical components of an environment that influence animal reproduction. For example, changes in temperature pattern due to climate change, such as in Malaysia, can disrupt reproductive cycle and success, particularly for species with narrow temperature tolerance.
Photoperiod. Photoperiod, or length of day and night, is an important environmental cue that influences the reproductive cycle of many animal species. Photoperiod changes provide reliable information about the time of year, allow animals to plan their reproductive activity around optimal environmental conditions. Photoperiod affect the secretion of melatonin, a hormone produced by the pineal gland during darkness. Longer night result in higher melatonin level, which can influence reproductive hormone. By timing reproduction with changes in photoperiod, animals can ensure that their offspring are born when food resources are abundant. It can also increasing the chance of successful mating. Proper timing of birth or hatching increase survival by ensuring favorable environmental conditions for growth and development. There are many animals that use photoperiod when to breed. First is bird. Many bird species are long-day breeders, meaning they breed when days are long. For example, European starling. European starling increasing reproductive activity in response to longer days in spring and summer. Photoperiod also influence migration timing, ensure that birds arrive at breeding ground when conditions are optimal for raising young. Next is insect. Some insects enter a state of diapause, which is state or period of suspended development in response to changing photoperiod. For example, the monarch butterfly. Monarch butterfly rely on photoperiod to time its reproductive cycle and migration.
Okay, so now I would like to talk about the influence in temperature for animal reproduction. In order to maximize the breeding conditions, some species may synchronize their reproductive cycles with seasonal variations in temperature. And also, the hormone levels are influenced by the temperature cues and hormone levels in turns affecting their reproductive physiology and behavior. Firstly, they will affecting the seasonal breeding, like mammals and birds. Their reproductive cycle based on seasonal changes in temperature, like warmer temperature in spring often trigger their breeding behavior and reproductive activities. Next is temperature-dependent sex determination, for example like turtles and crocodiles. The temperature experienced during egg incubation can determine the sex of the offspring. Okay, so next is hibernation and estivation, for example like mammals and amphibians. They enter the periods of dormancy during extreme temperatures, like the timing of reproduction may be influenced by the end of hibernation in winter, or estivation in summer periods when temperature becomes more appropriate for mating and rearing offspring. So lastly is about the hormonal feedback mechanism. For example, like gonadotropin, releasing hormone, and also sex steroids, which is progesterone and estrogen, and also cortisol. So the temperature can affect the hormone regulation, which directly or indirectly regulating the development of reproductive organs, gametogenesis, mating behaviors, and parental care.
Food availability. Food availability is a crucial ecological determinant of population size and community structure and controls various life history traits in most, if not all, species. Food availability is not constant. There are daily and seasonal differences in food abundance. When combined with hunger, the desire to eat, this manifests in a species feeding pattern. Food availability period have an indirect by modifying the synchronization of endogenous rhythm and direct by impacting metabolic balance, impact on the daily and seasonal physiology and behavior of organism. Okay, next, eating at the incorrect time of day impairs a seasonal breeder's capacity to reproduce and may cause trade-off between the amount and quality of progeny. Although the pattern of food availability acts as a conditioning environment and influences chromatin activation or silencing, it is only now that food availability times are functionally linked to epigenetic control of physiology. This review provides insight into the potential impact that shift in eating schedules, feeding environments, and lifestyles may have on food availability times, as well as hitherto unidentified effects on the physiology and reproductive fitness of year-round and seasonally breeding organisms.
Okay, now we move on to the social structure. The social structure of animals significantly influence their reproductive strategies, behavior, and success. Social structure in animal population can range from solitary to highly complex societies, and this structure shapes how individuals find mates, competes for the reproductive opportunities, and invest for offspring. Okay, first we have mating system. Mating system is the reproductive strategies employed by the animal to reproduce and the outcome of the reproductive. Okay, first we have monogamy. Monogamy is one male and one female for a long time pair bond, such as lovebird and salmon. So they only have one pair of mate to reproduce. Next, we have polygyny. Polygyny is one male mates with multiple females, such as deers. Deers use only alpha deers often have many females to reproduce with. And next we have polyandry. Polyandry means one female mates with multiple males, such as honeybee. Okay, we can see that we all know that honeybee does not reproduce. The only bees that reproduce is the queen bee. And next we have promiscuity. Promiscuity is both female and females have multiple mating partner. The great example of promiscuity is insects. Promiscuity also have one unique specialty that after they mate and they reproduce their children, they did not take care of their children. Next, we have dominance hierarchy. Dominance hierarchy means that the animal that has higher position in their social hierarchy have the higher successful reproductive success. So, in dominance hierarchy, for the alpha individuals, the alpha individuals often have the priority to mate to ensure the strongest offspring gene, and the subordinate individual needs to employ strategies to reproduce, such as sneaky reproduction or forming an alliance. And lastly, we have cooperative breeding. Cooperative breeding means that some species engage in cooperative breeding where individuals older than the parents helps raise the offspring. This social structure can enhance the reproductive success and offspring survivals. The queen bee only lay eggs other than queen bee, the other female will take care of the baby for the rest of the life to make sure that the baby can be hatched and live.
Presence of needs has three mechanisms. First is behavior interaction, second is visual and auditory cues, and third is pheromones and chemical signals. Behavior interactions between potential mates can directly trigger physiological changes and reproductive behaviors. For example, during courtship, tactile stimulation may increase hormone levels that prepare animals for mating. Examples are birds and mammals. Many bird species ensure higher chances of offspring survival through the way of both parents contribute to the nest building, incubation, and feeding of the chicks. Courtship, vocalization, and other physical and auditory cues play an important role of mate attraction and reproductive activities. Examples are birds, amphibians, and monkeys. In many frog species, males gather at mating ponds and call to attract females for synchronizing the timing of reproduction. Lastly, pheromones are used by many animals to communicate their reproductive status and preparation for breeding process. These chemical signals have the ability to cause hormonal changes that prepare individuals for mating. Examples are mammals and fishes. Like mice, the scent of a male can increase interest in females through pheromonal signals.
To conclude, environmental cues subtly influence animal behavior, emotions, and decision, including reproduction. Biotic and abiotic factors, food availability, social structure, and presence of mate contribute a lot in this scenario. Photoperiod and temperature as abiotic factors mean reproduction is higher in longer days and hormonal changes in different temperature. In abiotic factors, hibernation and estivation affects the hormonal feedback in mating behavior. Food availability affects reproduction by influencing biological rhythms and metabolic balance. Lastly, in social structure, it affects the mating system, dominant hierarchies, and also the cooperative breeding in